Well, welcome back to Digitally Speaking, Anthem's conversations on digital innovation, insights, and exponential technologies, and how they're shaping the future of healthcare. I'm Rajiv Ranaki, Anthem's Chief Digital Officer and Senior Vice President. Welcome, Arvind Krishna, CEO of IBM. And last time I saw you, I think, was on Think IBM's conference. So we have to stop meeting on these conferences. But Arvind, lots happened. You take on CEO. We have a Black Swan event in the pandemic. You announced a NewCo. You've been busy. So welcome to the show.
Rajiv, thanks. And it's always a pleasure to talk to you, even though virtually here and not physically together.
Welcome. Well, we're here today because IBM and Anthem have been partnering together in many promising ways. And we each as collaborators and ecosystem curators provide platforms for each other. I tend to think of IBM's platform as being the exponential to Anthem's platform, and the power of us collaborating and getting others to collaborate with us. So it's been a great partnership so far. We thank you for all of your work that you've done on behalf of Anthem. But would welcome your thoughts. What are you seeing, and how's IBM looking, and what do you think about what's ahead for us?
Look, Rajiv, you mentioned the pandemic, which is one of the crises that is there. There's a pandemic, or is there an economic crisis, or is there a social justice crisis, and we can go on and on. What these have driven home, I think, to every enterprise in the world is the value of platforms. You began by using the word platforms and that we exponentially amplify each other. But I think every enterprise in the world is now on that journey. What might have been a 5 to 10 year journey has gotten accelerated, where people want to get it done in a few months, at most a year or two, because they recognize that they need to touch their end customer. Whether you want to use the word customer, client, end user, you can use lots of words. They need to touch them digitally. Of course, today in the pandemic, that's the only way you can touch them. But people have also demonstrated that that's a way that you actually establish intimacy with your end users. And to provide them value, you need to give them intimacy, because it's no longer about one-to-many. One-to-many is underwhelming to most end users. So it has to be personalized to some extent. Me and my family, we're all your customers, if you're okay with me using that word. We are consumers of Anthem. And we are very happy. I mean, when we look at what happened over the past year, I think the journeys that you have made are on digital, the journeys you're making using clearly data and AI, the way it's getting more and more personalized, we can feel it. And so you using all your data in a way that I feel trust, right? Because I'm not sure I'd be willing to give that much personal information to somebody I don't trust. And I think that's a great example of how you're bringing platforms for the convenience of us as end users.
Now, it's great to hear, Arvind, and I'm glad to hear that you and your family are using our signature mobile app, Sydney, and we'll continue to use it and give us feedback on how we can make it better. And you'd be glad to know that some of the IBM technologies are embedded within that. So it's another great example of how the two of us are working together to make great experiences possible for all of our consumers. So as you know, this is a two-part series and a two-part conversation. First, I want to focus on blockchain, the work that we're doing together in creating a consortium around what we've called a health utility network, and we've launched that. Can you speak about the strengths and advantages of blockchain as a technology?
Rajiv, great topic. So the audience may not know, and Rajiv knows this though, that I'm a huge believer in blockchain technology. But let me make it come to life for the audience a little bit. Blockchain implies you cannot change something. Once it's entered, its provenance is forever guaranteed. 2, it can be under the control of the user. So if you entered something in there, you can say, hey, Rajiv is not allowed to look at it, but Arvind can. Or the other way around. Or Anthem can look at it, but some of their competitors cannot. So blockchain gives you a way to control the provenance of information, the authenticity and the truth of that information, as well as gives you access control over it. So a health utility network will allow organizations using blockchain to actually share that information. But with what I described, you can't change it. You can't even by accident change it, and it's under control of the end user. That looks really powerful. Think of the use cases. That means if I go to a new doctor in a new city, they have access to all my records because I can control it. But if I don't want some marketeer to look at it, I can say, no, I don't give permission there. And that's why I think it's so exciting to be able to work together on these and solve problems that may be good for both of us as businesses, but the value to society and to end users far transcends the value to us as a business.
The power of quantum computing can be used to crack tough problems. It could be used to create personalized medicine, match up therapeutics based on complex information like genomics and other healthcare information. What is it about quantum computing that's different than classical ways of computing?
Quantum computing has been one of these technologies that I think many people, even in the very rigorous academic computer science and physics disciplines, would have told you is science fiction. Who knows whether it can actually happen or not? I think the last 5 years have taken us beyond science fiction. We are now got quantum computers that are on the order of 30, 60 qubits, and so they're clearly making progress. So we have over 100 partners who work with us on quantum computers. They're mostly academic and research partners. This is not yet, I'll call it, commercial. And one of those areas where we work together, Rajiv, with Anthem, so we're very, very proud about that, is at North Carolina State University, where we have a quantum hub. And Anthem works together with the university and IBM to figure out better uses for healthcare data using quantum. And we all know the social determinants of medicine are going to be far more than just, I'll call it, the chemistry determinants of medicine. And as we go down the social determinants and that data comes in as well, this is what gets opened up with quantum and big data.
Amazing. I love it. As a technology geek, can't wait for all of this and really look forward to all that the tech can unlock for us. I think with the Health Utility Network, Q-Hub, I think collaboration is here to stay. I think we're seeing great applications of it. And the way in which quantum, blockchain, and other advanced technologies are coming to life, it's great for IBM, great for Anthem, and ultimately really compelling for our customers and our consumers.
We should also just make sure, in all these things, you use the word partnership to begin with. The reason it's a partnership, whether you take a Health Utility Network or quantum, it really is a win-win-win, meaning it's not a win-lose. By win-win-win, I mean we get the benefit of getting technology deployed. You get the benefit of leveraging the technology to create a slightly better business, and the end user benefits from getting a much better outcome than they could otherwise.
Yeah, well said. And in part 2 of our conversation, we'll actually double click on some of those win-wins and take you through some examples. So thanks for joining us. And Arvind, as a pleasure as always.
My pleasure to be here.
Thank you.